yeah, the WRX is officially ready. Alright, so, once again, unfortunately, even though I have access to all the camera technology in the world, this is going to be another case where I didn't capture a lot of stuff, didn't capture a lot of the misadventures. So, long story short is we got a super late start today to working on the RX8 again. I ended up having to go all over the place. I went to, my nearest advanced had a flaring tool, but the nearest place that I could find that had the tube bender tool that I wanted was all the way over in O'Fallon, Illinois. So it was like 38-minute, 45-minute drive. So I ended up doing a lot of back and forth. But I got everything that we needed, and basically the issue that we were running into, like I mentioned, is that the OEM lines, the ones that were actually on his car, yeah, so these are M12 by 1.25, or no, M12 by 1.0 threads, whereas in the new one, which is in the car, so I can't really show you effectively, but those are only M10 by 1.0s. Yeah, those are also by 1.0. So basically, the only way to get the new res to work was to basically we ended up deciding to build new lines. So we actually went to AutoZone. So again, I got the tools in different places. I don't know. I think AutoZone or other places do sell the pipe bending tools, but they didn't have any at my local one, so whatever. But basically, you have this. So we bought these lines pre-made. They normally have a flare. I don't know if my phone's going to be able to focus on it. But hey, long story short is they normally have a flare on the end of it. Well, I cut the flare off because it comes with these, M10s. So what we ended up getting was we got these M12s, that are designed to fit around a 3/16 hose line. So that way, because the hose line that would fit, basically the hose that it comes with this 1/4 inch, this 1/4 inch, there's no way to step that down into a smaller size. So we ended up going with these thinner hoses, the 3/16, and then just putting a bigger adapter on it with the smaller inner diameter so we could bolt it all together and it could work. So basically what I'm doing right now is that, once you saw it off, you put your little guy on there, and then we have to put a flare on this side. So what I ended up buying, and I apologize, I should have gotten my tripod. I guess my tripod is over there. I just don't have the right mount. And also I apologize. I figured out with the media mod, you can only have the microphone pointing in one direction. So I apologize that my audio quality gets kind of crappier whenever I turn the camera around. Gonna figure out a workaround for that. But anyway, let me go ahead and get back to the meat and potatoes. So basically, you have this basically it's just like a little vise. So, it's got these threaded bits on the inside so it can bite on to the hose so it doesn't go anywhere. And basically what you do is you just put this little guy in your vise, clamp it down, and then it actually comes with like little instructions right here, which is really nice. But for all intents and purposes, you stick your hose up a certain amount out of this. So in this case, they literally say that it should be, so like the base of this, like the widest part of this, it should only be about that high. So basically you make it come out only like that much. You make it come out that much. And then once you got this vise down, you set this into the hose, which I apologize again, doing all this with one hand is not the funnest thing in the world, but I'm managing. So you put this in the top of there, and then you sit this little guy on top of it, and you crank down, and it actually crimps down the tip of this line, and that's how you get your crimp. So I'm going to go ahead and get my adapter so that I can actually do a quick little time-lapse-y action of it. It's just so you guys can see the kind of gist. And then, like I said, I'm going to try and finish this last line that we need. I'm not the most proud of this, but it's, in a pinch because we've got other projects to get going. But let me go ahead. I'm going to give you guys some light because, again, I have the power to add light. So this is my line. It's not incredible, but it is on there. And it is in place in both places. So you can see I ended up going like up, back, down, and over, and back up. Tried to use as much of the length of it as possible, because this is one thing, if anybody knows, if you can tell me, I'd appreciate it. I know that, like, the reason why brake lines look so silly is because sometimes they need to be, like, equidistant, like they want them to all be the same length, and I don't know if that's for budget reasons or if it's actually because it can affect things. So if any of you guys know the answer to that, I would super appreciate the answer to it. So, long story short is, I just realized we're missing a hose. Gotta figure out what we did with that. I have no idea why I would have taken it off of there. So long story short is like I said, got this line run. It's not perfect, but it'll accomplish the goal. So now I need to make another line that goes from here to back here. So basically I'm probably going to do some stupid, like I'm going to go out, back over, and then back up through the back over here. And that'll be the line, and that'll be a decent use of the line that I have. And I guess, like I said, the other thing is this is my little pipe bender. It's not crazy complicated, but it's simple. Come on. Hold on, this light is reflective as hell now. Boop. There you go. Now you can actually see. But yeah, so it's got little angles pre-measured out. I still haven't quite figured out. I'm still slightly off from what I expect, so I don't know if you're supposed to sling it all the way back and then track from this 0. I actually don't know what 0, R, or L stand for. If any of you guys know, let me know, but hopefully I'll find out, on the good old Googles. But this little guy is what I've been using. And so by the way, if you ever try to do your own brake lines, don't bend them by hand. You can kink them. This is specifically like a kind of a mandrel kind of style, so it makes sure that you bend it in the proper way. So, you can do light twists and tweaks just fine, but if you're trying to do a 90-degree bend or more, use the proper tool. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and try and get a time-lapsey thing going, and yeah, that'll be it for tonight. Alright, so, as you can see, I'm not super, like, these flares end up being kind of ugly. Like, I don't like the way that I apologize again that I don't have a ton of control how the camera decides to autofocus, so I guess I'm going to hold it this far away and it'll hopefully look okay. But you can see how it kind of mars it up and stuff like that. Kind of don't like that, but, it accomplishes the goal because it's covered up by the nut, which I guess is their thinking, is that it's like, oh, you don't see the part that you make ugly. Problem solved. But yeah, but you can see it's flared on there, so this won't come off, and this will put pressure where it belongs. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, and the next step is to get this guy to basically just start measuring things out and trying to figure out a good path for this guy to take to go into the rear. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, so that took a lot longer than I expected, but that being said, made one little hiccup because I completely forgot that I needed room to push the nut back on the brake line in order to be able to crimp it. So I did end up doing exactly what I told you guys not to do, which is to manually bend things a little bit. So again, don't do that. Normally, I would say you're done, get a new line. I was able to do it without kinking anything, but you really do run the risk of weird stuff if you don't know what you're doing, which I half know what I'm doing. Anyway, long story short is, as you can see, I've got two lines running there, and you know, whoop, I gotta hold that up higher. Whoop goes there, and whoop goes there, and they are in. They are partially threaded, but that is all I'm gonna go ahead and do for today because doing anything more past 11:30 is going to lead to me making mistakes, which I don't like to do when I'm working with braking systems. But the good thing is I can let Jacob know that we're good to. We'll have to unhook those two barbs and then bench bleed it, fill it with stuff. Once we get it all filled up, then we can actually start. Making sure that there's no air in this part of the system because there's definitely these are brand new lines, so there's going to be air in them. So we're gonna have to do a lot of pumping. But the good thing is that um, by replacing the stainless lines, we were gonna be pumping through things anyway. So hopefully, since I know how to actually do brake bleeding properly now, the rest of this should only take a couple of hours, and then whippity doopity, we're off to the zoopity, and then we can get this car out, which is gonna be a fun project in and of itself because the the black RX8 is now directly behind this car, like less than a foot, just on the other side of the garage door. So basically, what we're gonna end up doing is we're either gonna put this car on dollies, or we're gonna have to pull the trailer forward and then hand brake the Noir X8 back a little bit so I have some room to do a shimmy 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 with this car. But I at this point I might be hiring a carporter. Anyone interested in getting paid way less than what they're worth for carporting? Because God, the amount of car moving that has to happen at this house. Anywho, I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. But the good thing is day two ended in a decent amount of success. Just a decent amount, not the best amount, but a decent amount. So hopefully, we'll test everything. Our weird little fittings will work. Um, they seem like they should. We'll find out for sure. Once we really get testing. I'm hoping it does because if it leaks, then we have to try a bunch of new things and we have to try new fittings, which was not fun. But I'm optimistic. So until tomorrow or whatever day I get to work on this.